I never thought I'd catch my wife in our bed with someone else. Our beloved home turned into a den of lies. As a police officer, I thought I could handle anything, but this personal betrayal shook me to the core. My shock turned quickly to rage. "Why, Lily?" A cry lost amidst the chaos. Her tears couldn't wash away. The scene burned into my eyes. Every corner of our life together, tainted. Follow my path from love to vengeance. This is my story. Enjoy watching it. I am known as Alex. During the events that took place, I was still in my youth, not exceeding the age of 24, and filled with great enthusiasm. I recall the time when I received a promotion, and I was deeply in love with my girlfriend Lily. We never experienced boredom in each other's company. Our shared interests, musical preferences, and similar perspectives on the world ensured that we always had engaging conversations. Furthermore, Lily grew up in a family of police officers, which made her fully comprehend my aspiration to pursue a career in this field. She patiently tolerated the urgent matters that arose at work, sometimes resulting in the cancellation of our plans. Not every woman would handle such situations with such calmness, where I had to abruptly rush to work during a meeting. I believe it was her patience and understanding in this regard that captivated me. We were in a relationship for approximately 3 years when we made the decision to move in together and tie the knot. During that time, she was still in her 3rd year of medical school. Following a modest wedding ceremony with close relatives and friends, we rented a 30-square-meter apartment with excellent renovations and a balcony, albeit with minimal furniture. The apartment solely consisted of a toilet, bath, and kitchen sink. Initially, we even slept on an inflatable mattress for a couple of months, but we embraced this minimalistic lifestyle with ease. Overall, it was a manageable situation, especially considering that my salary was quite substantial for our region, particularly due to the additional pay for overtime, weekend shifts, and working on holidays. We resided in that apartment with my wife for over a year. During this period, I purchased a significant amount of furniture and household appliances for the apartment, and we had internet installed. I was already contemplating the idea of taking out a mortgage to acquire this apartment. The apartment was always kept clean and organized. Those who have studied at police or military academies would understand how deeply ingrained the importance of maintaining order becomes. However, most of the expenses were naturally covered by me, ranging from renting the apartment to purchasing all the furniture and groceries. Lily made a small contribution to the shared budget, but I understood her circumstances and didn't ask for more. She was studying at medical university, so most of her finances were dedicated to her education. She worked in various jobs just to make ends meet. Despite the challenges, we lived in perfect harmony. However, everything changed on an unfortunate day. Towards the end of summer, my phone rang at 4 a.m. There was a general alert in the region. One of the prisoners had escaped from the local correctional facility and disappeared into the forest. In short, it meant that I had to put on my uniform and be at the designated assembly point within an hour. From there, we would be transported to the location. The chief would provide instructions and necessary information, and we would be sent with a group and trained dogs to search for the fugitive in the forest. I had no idea how long these searches would take, whether it would be hours or days, but I always mentally prepared myself to not be home the next day. My wife understood the intricacies of my job, coming from a family of police officers herself. She was always prepared for my sudden shifts. While I got ready, Lily quickly packed a backpack with food, water, and cigarettes. She kissed me goodbye and saw me off at the front door. As experience had shown, most of these searches in the nearby forest turned out to be unsuccessful. However, we diligently followed orders and searched the area. But this time, luck was on our side. Another group apprehended the escapee after approximately a day. All clear. Everyone was free. We were instructed to get some rest and return to duty the next day. Tired but satisfied with the work we had done, my colleagues and I returned to the city around 7 a.m. I entered the house quietly, opening the door so as not to disturb anyone. Immediately, I noticed something unusual in the hallway. There was a pile of shoes and many jackets were hanging on the hooks. One, It was evident that none of the chaos belonged to either my wife or me. The situation was not promising. I composed myself, silently reminding myself to stay calm and breathe steadily. This was my way of regaining control over my nerves without losing my composure. I proceeded to examine the apartment. It is challenging for me to articulate the horror I encountered. The magnitude of the disaster could only be expressed through the use of strong language. However, even that would fall short. The apartment resembled a scene of devastation caused by a hurricane, an earthquake, or a supernatural summoning. Yet there were no pentagrams or blood. It was not just a typical student gathering, it seemed more like a final celebration of their lives. It felt as if the apocalypse was looming. The bathroom was covered in vomit, with even the walls stained. The bathroom tap had been ripped off, water gushing into the sink and down the drain. A man in soaked clothes was asleep in the bathtub. The kitchen was in disarray, with shattered dishes and numerous empty alcohol bottles scattered around. Another intoxicated individual lay unconscious against the wall. A shelf containing various spices had been torn down, its contents strewn across the floor. The spices in another room were in no better condition. In the living room, a convertible chair had been unfolded, accommodating a sleeping couple in each other's arms. The plasma TV, which I had purchased on installment 6 months ago and only recently paid off, lay shattered on the floor. The bed completed the chaotic scene, with my wife lying naked in the embrace of another man, used condoms scattered nearby. The sight triggered something within me, prompting me not to endure it all, but to step out onto the balcony for a smoke. However, I should have remained indoors. Instead of finding my favorite ashtray, I discovered a bucket and a mop, both smeared with filth. There was a regular plate filled with numerous cigarette butts that couldn't fit and were scattered across the floor. My collection of succulents, consisting of 11 different species, had vanished. Out of curiosity, I glanced downwards and spotted it below. More precisely, I saw what remained of it: broken pots and lifeless plants. Presumably, it was amusing to throw pots from the 5th floor. That's when I lost control. The composure I had tried to maintain in my mind completely vanished, replaced by intense anger. I couldn't even determine what angered me more in this situation. Was it my wife's betrayal, or the sight of the ruined apartment that I had meticulously arranged over the course of a year at my own expense? I had worked tirelessly during this time to ensure that our family lacked nothing. I provided food, clothing, and even carried out repairs myself. I hadn't even bought new underwear for myself in a year. Everything went towards my wife and the house. And what had it become? Lily didn't just have a party. It turned into a cursed orgy of wild drunkenness and destruction. I finished my cigarette, carefully extinguished it in the plate, and immediately recorded everything on my phone, capturing the faces of each of these individuals on camera with the incriminating evidence I had gathered. I began my disciplinary action. No, I didn't give a lecture. My approach was brief and primarily consisted of using my fists, due to a severe hangover. The group didn't immediately comprehend what was happening. The guys bore the brunt of my actions. I tried not to use force on the girls, instead intimidating them by smashing empty bottles nearby. I unleashed my fury ferociously, wildly, and with a sense of satisfaction as I cornered them all. I informed them that they had until evening to clean up and restore everything to its original state. Otherwise, I would file a report against all of them. And as a police officer myself, I would ensure that their lives wouldn't be pleasant afterwards. Lily continued to sit on the bed, shamefully covering herself with a blanket. Her eyes were wide open, red from tears. "I'll explain everything," she stammered, her voice worn out from repeating the phrase. I seethed. "Collect your belongings and ensure your presence is gone by evening." Departing the apartment with that ultimatum, I granted the students an opportunity to rectify the chaos they had caused. I contacted my colleague, providing a brief overview of the situation, and spent the night at his residence, craving a strong drink to erase it all from my memory like a nightmare. Upon my return later that night, the place was deserted. They had made an effort to clean up as much as possible. They even replaced the faucet in the bathroom. Over the following week, they contributed towards a new TV and mounted a new spice rack, expressing remorse and pleading with me not to involve the authorities as it could jeopardize their academic standing. I pitied these individuals and utilized the video solely as leverage for retribution against my wife and her lover. Leveraging my position as a law enforcement officer, I approached the university administration and presented them with a video of the wreckage in my apartment, digitally obscuring the faces of the other students. Unsurprisingly, it was evident that the two culprits were expelled with no chance of readmission following that incident. I promptly initiated divorce proceedings. Lily bombarded me with messages throughout the divorce process, alternating between apologies for her actions and accusations that I had ruined her life with the video. It was a roller coaster of emotions, anticipating what Lily's next message would entail. My response was one of smug satisfaction, reveling in the completion of my revenge. Was it unjust? Perhaps. But as they say, an eye for an eye. I harbored no remorse and eagerly awaited the day when I would be liberated. I was even relieved that the apartment was leased under my name alone, enabling me to reside there peacefully without any asset division. Lily did not receive any material benefits from our divorce. She only had the option to go back to her parents in a small town and start over. Looking back on this situation many years later, I'm actually grateful that it unfolded the way it did. I could have continued to live with a deceitful person, completely unaware of the deception, which would have been far worse than the shocking discovery I made in my apartment on that fateful day. This experience has made me more discerning and cautious in my future relationships with women, enabling me to safeguard myself from repeating past mistakes. Feel free to share your thoughts on this scenario and the conduct of both spouses in the comments section. Thanks for listening to One Infidelity Hit. If you liked what you heard, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and drop us a like.